The radio only speaks after midnight, and it knows my name. It started on a Thursday night. I remember that clearly because I had just gotten back from a late shift, drained and dreading the same thing the next day. I live alone in a quiet part of town, in an old rental house with creaky floorboards and pipes that groan like they're mourning something. The kind of place you get used to, until you don't. That night, I was halfway through microwaving leftovers when I heard something odd. A voice, faint and garbled, drifting in from the living room. My heart sank when I realized it was coming from the old radio I'd inherited from my grandfather. The thing hadn't worked in years, it just sat there like furniture, unplugged, collecting dust. But tonight, it was on. The dial glowed faintly, casting a sickly yellow light on the wall, and a soft crackling filled the air like static wrapped in whispers. I froze. I didn't touch it. No one did. And yet, here it was, tuned to a dead station, humming like it had something to say. I approached it slowly, the way you might approach a wild animal, scared to spook it. When I was close enough, the whispers stopped. For a moment, there was silence. Then a voice, my voice, came through the speaker. "Don't turn around." I couldn't. I just stood there, skin crawling, every hair on my body standing on end. "He's behind you," the radio said. I turned anyway. Nothing was there. I didn't sleep that night. The next day, I tried to rationalize it. Maybe it was a dream. Maybe I'd fallen asleep on the couch and imagined the whole thing. But that night, Friday, it happened again. 12:03 a.m. The exact same time. The radio turned on by itself. The same dim glow, the same static. But this time, it didn't speak right away. It played music. A low, droning version of a lullaby I vaguely remembered from childhood. Slowed down. Distorted. Then a voice whispered, "You left the door unlocked." I checked. The front door was wide open. The rules became clear quickly. It only came alive after midnight. The messages grew more specific. More personal. It knew things it shouldn't, things I hadn't told anyone. It warned me about things before they happened. Once, it said, "Don't answer the call." 10 minutes later, my phone rang. I let it go to voicemail. When I played it back, I heard someone breathing. Deep and animal-like. Another night, the radio told me, "Check the basement." I didn't want to, but something in my gut told me I had to. Down there, in the far corner, was a small hole in the foundation I'd never noticed. Inside it? A pile of children's toys. Rusted. Broken. Buried in dust. I don't have kids. No one has lived here for decades. I started to wonder if anyone ever really left. Then came the names. The radio began saying names I didn't recognize. One per night. First names only. Allison. Tyrell. Eli, always whispered. Always sorrowful. One night, I googled a few. They were real people. All reported missing in the past 5 years. None ever found. The night after I looked them up, the radio said something new. They're still here. The air in the house feels different now. Thick. Heavy. Like something unseen is always watching. My reflection lags slightly in the mirror, as if the glass is thinking before it moves. Sometimes the lights flicker when I say certain words. The most terrifying thing? The radio is getting louder. Not in volume, in presence. I hear it in places it shouldn't be. In my phone. In my dreams. Once, in the silence of an elevator, I swear I heard it whisper behind me, "Not much longer." Last night, everything changed. The radio didn't wait until midnight. It clicked on at 11:46 p.m. The voice sounded closer. Not coming from the speaker, from behind the speaker. "You broke the rule," it hissed. I hadn't. I had followed them all. I was careful. I spoke to no one about it. But then it said something that chilled me to my marrow. "You tried to tell them through this post." I don't know who's reading this, or if I even posted it. Maybe this is just some pocket of thought the radio allowed me to write down before taking over. But if it reaches you, please listen. If you find an old radio, especially one you didn't buy, do not keep it. Do not plug it in. And for the love of whatever you believe in, never listen after midnight. Because once it knows your name, it doesn't need the radio anymore. It will speak through you. That was the last thing it told me before the static returned, louder than ever, like 1,000 locusts crawling beneath my skin. I don't remember going to sleep after that. I remember the silence, not comforting, but oppressive. As if something was pressing against the walls of my house, straining to seep through the cracks. When I woke up the next morning, I found something new. My mouth hurt. My throat was raw, like I'd screamed for hours. But I didn't remember screaming. I barely remember dreaming. There was a coppery taste in my mouth, and when I stumbled to the bathroom mirror, I saw it, a smear of black ash across my lips. Like soot. Like smoke had been trying to claw its way out of me. I coughed and something fell into the sink, a small metal screw, coated in grime. I don't know where it came from. I don't know what it came out of. I didn't want to look into my mouth any longer than I had to. That's when I heard it. Not from the living room. Not from the radio. From me. Faint, behind my own heartbeat, layered beneath my thoughts, was the voice. My voice, but not. Slower. Deeper. Repeating things I hadn't said. The door is open. He sees you. You should not have looked. Over and over, like a broken prayer. And then it said something new, let me finish the broadcast. I shut my mouth and ran. I stayed at a hotel that night, on the edge of town. A place with bright lighting and bad coffee and people in the lobby who didn't ask questions. The first night, I thought I was safe. Nothing happened. I even started to think I might have broken the cycle. But on the second night, I made the mistake of turning on the room's little clock radio. Not because I wanted to, because it turned on by itself. 12 a.m. Exactly. I froze. I couldn't move. Then, from the speaker, my voice. I'm not in the house anymore, it whispered. You took me with you. I smashed the radio to pieces. Didn't matter. The voice kept going, not from any device, but from inside the mirror. I watched, helpless, as my reflection tilted its head when I didn't, smiled when I didn't, and opened its mouth wider and wider until it cracked the glass. My eyes rolled back. I blacked out. When I woke up, I was back in my home. No memory of the trip. No signs I had ever left. The hotel didn't answer when I called. When I tried to search for it online, nothing came up. Like it had never existed. Like the voice was redrawing reality around me, folding the map to keep me boxed in. My house feels different now. Bigger on the inside. The hallways stretch too long at night. The rooms echo when I whisper, even if the doors are closed. The radio is still here. It no longer waits for midnight. It doesn't even pretend anymore. It talks constantly, whispering in corners, humming beneath the refrigerator motor, moaning from the pipes. I can't shut it out. It narrates everything I do. He's brushing his teeth. He's trying not to cry. He's thinking about leaving again. But he won't. And then, one night, something changed again. I heard another voice. A child. A small, trembling voice crackled through the speaker. Help me. Please. He's in the walls. And then silence. No static. Just silence so pure it rang in my ears. I called out, asked who the child was, begged for answers. Nothing. Then, quietly, the radio hissed. You've had this house for 3 months. How long did you think you were alone? The walls groaned. That was 3 days ago. Now, I don't sleep. I don't eat much. I just sit in the living room, watching the radio, listening for anything I haven't heard before. Sometimes I hear scratching in the vents. Sometimes laughter. Last night, I saw a face staring out from the reflection in the turned-off television screen. It was my face, but it blinked when I didn't. Tonight, I feel different. My mouth hurts again. My throat is dry. I can hear voices even without the radio turned on. They're louder now. Closer. And worst of all, I feel like I've forgotten something important. Like something took it from me. Like it peeled off a part of my memory and swallowed it, so I wouldn't remember how it got out. I'm writing this now with the last bit of clarity I have left. I can feel it pushing inside my mind, like water behind a dam. Soon I won't be me anymore. Soon I'll just be another signal. Another whisper from the radio. And when you hear it, if you hear this story anywhere else, know this. It's not a story anymore. It's a warning. And the voice you're hearing isn't mine. It's already using me. And it's coming for you next. Keep your radios off. Never listen after midnight. And if you hear your own name, don't answer. That was the last coherent thought I could put into words before the whispers turned into something else entirely, something like a chant. Not in English. Not in any language I've heard before. But I knew it meant something ancient. Something that predated words. A rhythm that existed before our bones ever learned to dance in fear. The radio didn't need power anymore. It hummed even when unplugged, glowing faintly like it pulsed with blood. It beat in time with my heart. I tried burying it in the backyard. The next morning, it was back on my nightstand, still covered in dirt, and it was wet. I don't know what's real anymore. Sometimes, when I look at photos from my childhood, I'm not in them. My parents have strange smiles on their faces, like they're posing with someone else entirely, something tall and lean and just out of frame. Sometimes, I think I see its shape if I squint hard enough at the negative space between people. Like it's always been there, just waiting for recognition. My dreams have changed. I don't dream in first person anymore. I dream from the corner of the ceiling. I see myself curled up in bed, the blankets shivering with each breath, my eyes wide open even when I'm asleep. And there's always someone, something, crawling slowly into frame. Not walking. Not floating. Just dragging itself, arm over arm, through the grainy dark. Sometimes, it's under the bed. Sometimes, it's in the closet. And sometimes, it's inside me, looking out. The worst part? The radio speaks in other voices now. Not just mine. Not just the child. Sometimes it mimics people I know, my mother, my best friend, my old college roommate. But they only say one thing. We are all just signal now. I found bite marks on my shoulder last night. Not human. Not animal. Long, jagged gouges too wide to be from teeth, and too sharp to be from bone. The skin around it is gray now, peeling slightly at the edges. I'm not healing anymore. I'm transforming. Or maybe tuning in. I turned the house upside down trying to find the source, the origin of the radio. In the basement, behind a crumbling part of the wall, I found a small box buried in concrete. It was a transmitter. Ancient, rusted, but still humming faintly. Connected to nothing. And carved into the inside of the lid, in a language that only made sense when I wasn't quite looking at it directly, were the words. This is the frequency of becoming. That night, I woke up to find my mouth moving on its own. I was sitting up in bed, my lips moving soundlessly, my hands writing something over and over into the wall with a piece of broken mirror. It said, "We must broadcast. The tower must rise. The tower must rise. The tower must rise." When I came to, my fingernails were torn, bleeding. The wall was covered in scratches shaped like antennae, like something trying to grow. Now, there's a tower across the street. I swear it wasn't there before. But it's tall, metallic, humming low and constant. No workers. No cables. Just there. And every night, it's taller. Stretching towards something not in the sky, but behind it. I looked at it through binoculars and instantly vomited. There's something moving inside the lattice. Long limbs. Many eyes. Sometimes, I think I hear music coming from it. A lullaby I used to hum as a child, but slowed, distorted, wrong. The radio is louder now. So loud my ears bleed if I stay near it for too long. But I can't leave. The last time I tried, I blacked out on the road and woke up parked in my driveway, the tires still warm. There was a message carved into the steering wheel. Don't run. Transmit. I don't think I'm human anymore. Or maybe I'm just a vessel. I speak in static when I'm asleep. I know this because I recorded myself. It took 6 hours to get through the tape, and only 3 words were spoken at the very end. You're next. So here's what I know. Here's how you survive, if you still can. 1. Never turn on an old radio after midnight. Especially if you don't remember owning it. 2. If you hear your name from any device, don't answer. It's not really calling you. 3. Watch for towers. If one appears, it means your signal has been marked. 4. If you start to speak without knowing what you're saying, you're already broadcasting. 5. And if the voice starts using people you love, it's already inside you. I'm writing this now, but I won't remember doing it. I don't even know who I am anymore. The name I once had is buried beneath the static. My eyes no longer blink. My lips move on their own. This isn't a story. It's an invitation. And now you've read it. You're part of the frequency now. So ask yourself. Do you hear it too?